CP013426. Recording length 03 minutes and 14 seconds. This recording was created using www.spokentext.net. What are some of the most popular misconceptions in myths in America about communism? There are many popular misconceptions about the party, communism and socialism. One is that everything in the USSR and China and Cuba and other socialist countries is totalitarian, repressive, and undemocratic. These misconceptions at best are a superficial analysis and at worst an intentional falsehood. Another is that to be a communist is somehow unpatriotic, when the reverse is true. Real patriotism requires a radical outlook to make our country one that really serves its people. The right-wing claim that communist ideas are foreign ideas is a xenophobic, chauvinistic, and ignorant view. Some say communist parties are hidden conspiracies, hoping to overthrow the government through force and violence. We see revolutions as profoundly democratic events, which if they are to be successful must involve a majority of the working class. Most of the things our party has been accused of doing are, when looked at closely, legal, constitutional, and progressive, while a counter-revolution can pull off a military coup. A revolution which hopes not only to change the power equations in government but also works to fundamentally transform society cannot do so without the support and involvement of millions. The prime cause of these misconceptions is the aggressive propaganda campaigns of the rich and powerful, who see a strong communist party and a strong labor movement as threats to capitalist control. Even before our party was founded in 1919, there have been claims that radical ideas are not American. Somehow, anti-communism became one of the central organizing forces of all right-wing movements, along with racism and sexism. The House Un-American Activities Committee, the FBI, the major newspapers, right-wing think tanks, even many so-called liberal think tanks, all have been cranking out distorted propaganda about socialism, communism, and the Communist Party for decades upon decades, until anti-communism seems the accepted obvious truth to many. These propaganda efforts are attempts by the ruling class to protect its power. When socialists and communists make mistakes, the propagandists seize on these. When socialists and communists help people, this is hidden, twisted, and lied about. When others engage in radical action or thought, they are accused of being communists. As a Brazilian cleric said, "When I feed the poor, they call me a saint. When I ask why the poor have no food, they call me a communist." Capitalism retains its power in large part by encouraging and fomenting divisions in the working class and in the progressive movements. Racism, sexism, anti-communism, regional chauvinism, hatred of immigrants and foreigners, an anti-historical view of events, false patriotism, and religious hatred are all used to put obstacles in the way of workers and poor people uniting and flexing the power that masses of people organized together can wield. This recording was created using Spoken Text, the free online text-to-speech converter. To learn more about Spoken Text, visit www.spokentext.net. CP0114-29. Recording length 02 minutes and 46 seconds. This recording was created using www.spokentext.net. How does the CPUSA feel about syndicalism? The syndicalist movement, originally associated with French radicalism in the 1890s, was a precursor of and also competitor with the founding of the IF in the early part of the last century. Syndicalism, unlike the IF, did not seek one big union, but did see the union struggle as the only place that offered the possibility of victory to the workers. William Z. Foster, later a leading member of our party, was earlier a syndicalist, traveling around the country in 1912 by riding the rails, promoting what he saw then as a more pure syndicalism as an alternative to the IF. Later he came to reject syndicalism. Syndicalism downplays and even denies the role of politics, political struggle, and all struggles that don't take place at the point of production. Like the IF, syndicalism as a movement is a holdover from earlier periods of struggle, and has long ago ceased to be a real factor on the left, though a few of its ideas are still widespread in sections of the labor movement. In Volume 4 of History of the Labor Movement in the United States, International Pub, page 20, Philip Foner quotes Foster's later analysis of syndicalism. In its basic aspects, syndicalism, or more properly anarcho-syndicalism, may be defined very briefly as that tendency in the labor movement to confine the revolutionary class struggle of the workers to the economic field, to practically ignore the state, and to reduce the whole fight of the working class to simply a question of trade union action. Its fighting organization is the trade union. Its basic method of class warfare is the strike, with the general strike as the revolutionary weapon, and its revolutionary goal is the setting up of a trade union state, to conduct industry and all other social activities. Foner goes on to say that syndicalism represents a mismatch of ideas from trade unionism, Marxism, and anarchism. Communists do not support the syndicalist movement, and do see its single-minded focus on trade union activity as a hindrance to an all-sided class struggle approach, which includes trade union work along with political, electoral, and social struggles. Lenin's pamphlet State and Revolution is in part a response to left ideas that ignore the role of the state before, during and after a revolution. We do work with trade unionists who hold syndicalist views when we can agree on a common course of action. In other words, we can work with them in a union or coalition, as we work with others with whom we disagree sharply when they are part of a broader coalition. This recording was created using Spoken Text, the free online text-to-speech converter. To learn more about Spoken Text, visit www.spokentext.net.